Instagram is directly head-to-head competing with Snap. Neither Facebook nor even Twitter really had head-to-head competitors when they went public. Second of all, Facebook was solidly profitable when it went public, and this company is so far from it. Don't you think those are big differences?
Absolutely. They are differences. And you're right, Instagram's got a lot going for it, particularly because it's owned by Facebook. But you're seeing Instagram, at least in the anecdotal evidence I've seen, teens and young adults are using Instagram in very selective ways, to only post the best things, to only follow what they want to follow, not with that rabid intensity that you're seeing young people using Snapchat. And I think that's one key difference that you've got to keep in mind as we go forward with this company.
Let's bring it back to our expert reporter, Sarah, because when we're looking at the numbers, though, as they put in their statement, their prospectus, revenues have gone up some 7 times. I mean, they're just over $400 million. People seeing that we could hit 1.8 billion by 2018 as some of the analysis out there. How they've had to adapt to making money with this business, because certainly Imran Khan seemed to have to learn a lot.
Yes, so last week I spent a lot of time with advertisers in New York City talking to them about what it would take for them to get Snap to be not just an experimental innovation side of their budgets, but part of the staple of their ad spending for their clients. And there are a few things that they mentioned. They need it to be easier to buy Snap's ads. They need to be sure of the return on investment from those ads. And they need to be able to better target and measure the audiences the way that they are able to do in other platforms. And when I say other platforms, the big one is of course Facebook. Facebook can give you very granular targeting for your audiences, but also YouTube. YouTube has really dominated in mobile video advertising, and if Snap wants to be the sort of millennial version of TV, they really need to make sure that they can compete with that. Now, they have made a lot of progress in the last year. Advertisers spoke highly about Imran Khan increasing his understanding of the market. He comes from banking, so this is very new, but there's still a lot to do.
I would just say that, Imran Khan is a genius, in my opinion. He was one of the first people to really understand how important Facebook was. He's managed his career brilliantly, too. But, one of the things that Snap has very explicitly said is they are not going to target the way that Facebook has. They're not going to gather personal data and show their ads based on that. So isn't that, if that's what advertisers are seeking, Sarah, isn't that, and maybe Debra wants to weigh in on this too, but isn't that unlikely that those advertisers are going to get what they're looking for?
Well, they are getting some of it. Right now on Snap, they can target based on what sort of lifestyle categories you've been looking at on Discover. So say you read a lot of People magazine channel, they'd be able to target you based on that. So there are 100 plus different ways to target people by interest. Then, of course, you can target by other things like email lists that match with marketers. None of that is anywhere close to what you get on Facebook. On Facebook, you can tell if somebody recently got out of a relationship and moved to a different city, and all of these things that really help advertisers target people at a moment in their lives when they're most likely to buy something. But I think the part where Snap really is set apart is the geographic targeting. And a lot of people don't talk about this because we mostly talk about video ads, but the geo filters that are specific to retail locations or that might allow you to unlock a deal, those are becoming a lot more popular, and it's their one self-serve ad product that could meet a lot of small businesses' needs.
Debra, let's dig into your analysis here, because you've got so much data that you've really ripped apart, and give us your view on where Snap does go in terms of revenues in the next few years and what it needs to achieve, and really riffing off what David put there to Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I wanted to mention in passing is the 3 things that Sarah mentioned that advertisers were looking for from Snapchat are the same 3 things that advertisers were looking for from Facebook in the early days. So we may see Snapchat change its tune over time in terms of the ability to target. We have to wait and see. But to get to the point about ad revenue, I mean, we're forecasting that Snapchat will have about $900 million in ad revenue this year. That's more, more than double than what we expected last year. quarter and what we saw in the S1. So this is a company that's growing. You're right, it's not nearly as big as Facebook, but you have to give this company the benefit of the doubt. It's early days for Snapchat. They've developed super creative communications techniques, super creative ways to advertise, whether it be vertical video or sponsored lenses, sponsored filters. All these things are new ways to advertise, and they are innovating just as much as Facebook did in its early days.